If you're anything like me, you were or still are a fan of FNAF. If you're even more like me, then you played the hell out of Pokemon Go when it released.
You knew. You tried to tell us, but we didn't listen.
Okay, fuck this. I'm on Blog TV with my fucking hands up. I'm not starting.
Now take Pokemon Go, add FNAF, then add the guy from Iron Lung and a random company that has no prior games created, almost solely because they do AR stuff, and trust them with the FNAF license. Surely nothing will go wrong. Something awful! FNAF AR was an alternate reality focused mobile game released on November 25th, 2019, and created by the ex-game company Illumix. They do AI shit now or something, it isn't really that important. It's difficult to even call them a game company because they made one fucking game. Hey guys, what's up? I'm a parody channel, look at me. FNAF AR was released at a time where companies were still trying to ride off that 2016 hype that Pokemon Go generated, with none other than Potential Man Earth being released just a month prior in October. In all seriousness, it's not too fair to call Minecraft Earth that. It was released at the worst possible time. I can't wear my mask. What if Withered Foxy's there? And I know I compared FNAF AR to Pokemon Go, but really the only similarity is it doxes you, makes you look around your room to catch something, and microtransactions. Unlike Pokemon Go, there was basically no point in the Google Maps thing that animatronics approach you from. It was really just there for theming. There was no stuff like gyms or Pokestops to actually incentivize you to walk around outside, so most people just played the game from home, which, judging by the game's story and trailer, was the intention. The point of the game was to fight animatronics invading your home by using a taser and a flashlight. There were other mechanics that would get slapped on or replace the original too, but the game mostly revolved around the taser and flashlight. Beating these animatronics would grant you things like parts, mods, remnant, and if you were very, very lucky, plush suits and CPUs. I think you can tell where the microtransactions come in.
I am a zoophile.
At its core, FNAF AR was a character collecting game. The plush suit gave you animatronics to view in the workshop, as well as skins for those animatronics, and the CPUs changed the gameplay behavior of those animatronics you'd send to your friends. Now, how do you possibly mess up this slam dunk of an idea?
Toy Chica is William F.
On September 13th, 2019, a beautiful baby is announced. This is the day that the official Illumix YouTube account uploaded their second video called FNAF AR Special Delivery Official Announcement Trailer. This was just the later posted launch trailer, but with the first half featuring Markiplier as the Fazbear spokesperson guy cut out of it. It was the first exposure to the FNAF AR animatronic models, which I'd say still hold up 6 years later.
Shut the fuck up!
I know that 6 years isn't that long for models, but like, they still look pretty good.
Can you tell I like the models?
I brought up their second video first because of it being a little more significant, but the first video uploaded was labeled FNAF AR Teaser, a 26-second long video of a phone laying on a table with a microphone, bow tie, pirate hook, and cupcake nearby. Some people actually thought this was either a hoax or a fan project. Quick question. How? Illumix is a real company, guys. It takes like no time to Google this. I don't think they'd be getting their companies start making hoax FNAF videos about Mr. Your pronouns are she har 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 himself. Man, this person was getting fucking bullied for this video, Jesus. After a few seconds, the famous "It's me" is messaged to the phone by an unknown number, followed by mechanical footsteps and the screen starting to glitch.
I'm glitching it! They call me the glitch! Do you know why they call me the motherfucker?
Then, the date 10/2019 appears on the screen. Maybe I'm missing something, but nothing seems to happen on this date. Maybe that's when the announcement trailer was supposed to be released or something. I don't know. After those two videos, a third was uploaded, appropriately called FNAF AR Teaser 2. Much of the same happens, with the unknown number continuing to text the phone and repeatedly saying, "I will find you," you know, scary shit. But the coolest thing about this trailer was after all of these years of not having a voice for Freddy Fazbear in a game, and no, Help Wanted 1's Showtime doesn't count because it was scrapped, we finally got a voice for him. even if it was in a mobile game.
I planned something special just for you.
After this, the official launch trailer came out, and following that was an almost hour-long Q&A with famous 50/20 mode champion Dako talking to the CEO of Illumix, Kiran Sinha. Now we know who to send angry messages to on Twitter. Please bring back my shitty mobile game or I'm gonna fucking bomb Illumix headquarters! So with that, FNAF AR was launched out into the world, becoming the first ever mobile-only FNAF game. People seemed pretty hyped, even more so because a character played by Markiplier is now in FNAF canon. Maybe. But would it live up to the fans' expectations? FNAF AR launched in a surprisingly good state, is what I would say if it launched in a surprisingly good state. Truthfully, gameplay-wise, it wasn't too bad. You fought animatronics of different difficulties, with Bear Endo being the easiest and Springtrap being the hardest. I don't know why Springtrap is being rented out to children's parties, but whatever. Everyone else was somewhere in between Bear Endo and Springtrap difficulty-wise, and with each animatronic beaten, you increased your streak and then the game crashes. Yeah, FNAF AR at this point, and still sometimes down the line, had a horrible problem with it crashing every single time anything happens. Crashes in the launch screen, crashes in the loading screens, crashes in the menus, crashes in the battles, crashes in the fucking rewards screen. It was pretty safe to say that this was fucking annoying.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
I think you can tell by my tone of voice how many times this screwed me over. However, some people didn't even experience crashes because they were stuck in the launch screen. For some ungodly reason, tons of phones would just straight up refuse to run FNAF AR. Of course, many older phones would struggle and not load, but even for the suggested phones for playing the game, they would perpetually get stuck at like 85% in the loading screen. This was such a prominent issue that I made a meme about it and put it on my Instagram like 5 years ago that is still there if you want to go check. This led to a lot of people just not being able to experience the game either because of issues made on accident by Illumix or from issues with their hardware. Dako covered basically every update though, so they could live vicariously through 50/20 man if they wanted. Weirdly enough, friend codes weren't a launch feature of the game, instead being added in December. Friend codes were what let you send animatronics you had the plush suits or CPUs for to other players, with an extremely cool addition of this being that they could get whatever plush suit or CPU was attached through fighting the sent animatronic. There was no like global sending thing, which honestly wouldn't have been too bad of an idea. This basically meant you could get everything in the game without spending any money or Faz coins on lures and bundles. In November and December, Illumix did fix a handful of bugs that would occur. They fixed the salvaging issue where animatronics would just like get lost. How the fuck does that happen?
I've been roaming around, always looking down at all I see.
They fixed an issue with the drop system where players just weren't getting plush suits. Then the final fix was an improved management system of the inbox to prevent chances of crashes? How was that crashing stuff? We got the Phaser Blaster, the Phaz Talker, and the Phaz Zip Bomb. In December, they fixed a weird language settings issue in the intro video, and they also fixed an issue regarding missing workshop items. I'd be pissed too if my Toy Chica yams were missing. Where the fuck is the robot ass? And finally, they fixed a bug where people would get stuck in the introduction video, being unable to go to the actual game. I won't continue to go over these random bug fixes unless they're extremely important from now on. Just know that Illumix did do an okay job at fixing problems as they came up. They weren't like the devil and not updating their game. Until they were. What if Illumix was Hitler? They still never fully fixed the crashing and hardware issues though, which were the main complaints. What can you do? Let him go. Are you gonna bully a niche indie studio like Illumix? Yeah, I didn't think so. On release, there was a pretty sizable amount of characters to collect and battle. The entire FNAF 1 cast, excluding Golden Freddy, because he's not important. Balloon Boy, Baby, and even Springtrap. I mentioned it earlier, why is he here? Every single one of these characters also had a CPU to collect, which had around the same drop chance of a plush suit. I think it might have actually been slightly rarer. I am like 99% sure the chances of anything dropping never actually came out. Editor BCA can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but that's just what I've heard. Oh yeah, Shadow Bonnie was also in the game, but he was in a mode that later in the game's life nobody gave a shit about. And he wasn't able to be collected either, so he was just kind of there. The early days of FNAF AR were quite cool. Everyone was still figuring out the mechanics and how to master them, and lots of people were theorizing on who would get added to the roster next. Slightly unrelated, but there's this one post on Reddit from like 7 years ago now that got Springtrap's mechanic entirely wrong and just thought he killed you. We're just gonna kill him! Fortunately or unfortunately, no one knew about the looming danger that would begin to form on an unsuspecting St. Patrick's Day. They'd be foolish to have just done one version of each animatronic in the game, there's not enough money in that.
We've got to have money.
And so, they began to start something truly terrible.
Shut the fuck up, I will fucking laser you with alien fucking eyes and explode your fucking head.
Before I start this segment, I think the skins were one of the best parts of FNAF AR. The modelers did a fantastic job with a lot of them, but it gets to a point where you start to wonder where the priorities should realistically be, not from a money standpoint, but from a game standpoint.
I play this game, yeah, this game of fame.
On March 5th, 2020, Mangle was officially released into FNAF AR, and 10 days later marked the release of the first ever skin, Shamrock Freddy. In January and February though, Toy Bonnie, Toy Freddy, and Toy Chica were added to the roster as permanent encounters, meaning that you didn't need a lure or anything to catch them. Catch them? I'm saying it like it's Pokemon.
Pokeball!
Got him. By no means was Illumix sleeping on adding new characters. Toy Chica was even part of a previous event in December, along with a FNAF AR original character, Freddy Frostbear. Shamrock Freddy was a very basic skin for a very basic animatronic. Nothing crazy, but it was definitely cool to go and collect. Fun fact, this is actually Rem's favorite skin. He even has a plushie of it. Look at him, he's so cute.
So cute!
After seeing the positive reception of Shamrock Freddy, Illumix added 2 new skins in April, Easter Bonnie and Chocolate Bonnie. Again, like Shamrock Freddy, these were 2 very basic skins with no custom animations and very small changes to the original Bonnie model. I say small as Chocolate Bonnie has a major chunk of his torso ripped out. Once again, the players liked these, so in the coming months, to keep players busy while new characters were still being created, Illumix would launch updates featuring mainly these skins, so players weren't starving for content. I'm not 100% sure if all the skins being created was a reason for this happening, but 3 of the 6 new animatronics added during 2020, after skins became a thing, were just changed or slightly harder versions of already existing animatronics with no change to their gameplay. Even though 8-Bit Baby is my favorite character in FNAF AR, that doesn't mean she's exempt to how lazy her CPU was. I think the only reason 8-Bit didn't end up being a skin and was instead made a new character was so she could be given a CPU that changes her voice lines and other sounds, and also music. There could have been so many other things that you could do with the concept of 8-Bit Baby, but they just made her a skin that isn't technically a skin. Why?
Money!
And I understand if you could excuse 8-Bit Baby. She isn't really too important of a character and didn't even really exist as her own character before FNAF AR, but I think reskins of 2 Nightmare animatronics are pretty important. Yeah, so instead of adding Nightmare Bonnie and Nightmare Chica, they instead decided to add their FNAF 4 Halloween Edition counterparts. I guess this is understandable because it was October, aka the month of fucking Halloween, but Illumix, how are you just gonna add reskins into the game that already has reskins? Was it because the Nightmares have different voice lines in UCN?
Sorry I'm late to the party. Fashionably late, of course.
things get really hot in here, or is it just me?
Holy shit, this is just 8-Bit Baby again. Yeah, they probably did it for money, but I'd be able to look past that if their gameplay was anything of note. The Jacko encounters are practically just harder versions of the standard Bonnie and Chica fights, but they inflict fog instead of static and have new voice lines and sound effects. I'd say they are objectively better than 8-Bit Baby because at least their difficulty was cranked up, but this is so fucking boring. They took two characters that they could probably give some interesting mechanics to and just made them harder versions of animatronics already in the game with no new mechanics to show for it. What hurts even more about the Jackos being so lame is this was the update Plush Trap was added, the first animatronic in the game to feature a mixed reality environment. You're telling me you guys couldn't code in some fucking doors for the Jackos to have some kind of mechanic built around? Or even forget the mixed reality and have Chica do something with her Jack-o'-lantern? She literally uses it in FNAF 4 Halloween Edition, and it's featured on her model. I don't understand how they did nothing with it. They also could have just done some mixed reality door thing for Jacko Bonnie since he doesn't really have anything like the Jack-o'-lantern to be used in gameplay. There were multiple ways Illumix could have handled these guys, and chose probably one of the worst ways. But anyway, enough about whatever these three were. Remember how Illumix released 9, technically 10 new animatronics this year? You'd imagine they continued this streak of adding new ones, right? No. This is where the name of the segment really comes in. One character was released in 2021. In the entire year of 2021. That's it. It was Funtime Freddy.
Hello, little children.
And yeah, it was cool finally having him in the game, even if his mechanic was kind of fucking lame. But hey, at least there's a new character that got added. Let's scroll through all the updates before this one and see what Illumix was up to. What the fuck? All Illumix did that year was new skins, Blast from the Past events, a photo booth contest, and the Dark Circus DLC, which, that is something. Dark Circus Encore was a mixed reality puzzle solving DLC with an exclusive Golden Freddy skin. Oh my god! With an exclusive Golden Freddy skin as the final boss. The other fights in this DLC are an old skin and a character already in the— God fucking damn it! $20. This DLC was not able to be purchased with Faz coins. It cost 20 real-life dollars. Maybe, and when I say maybe, it is just barely a maybe, this DLC would be worth 20 bucks if everything included was new content. But 20 bones for an old Foxy skin, regular Ballora who is already in the game, and a Golden Freddy skin is absurd. To be fair, when you beat these three, if you already don't have their plush suits or CPUs, you'd get them 100% of the time upon beating them. But I'm pretty sure everybody who'd even think of buying at this point already has the fucking Foxy CPU. I wouldn't even say this DLC was worth it for 100% chance of the Ballora and Golden Freddy CPU, because you can literally get these from people sending them to you, or by doing map encounters. Golden Freddy was also, like Ballora, a map encounter at this point, so you were literally just doing these for the skins. The only things in this DLC you needed the DLC to get were the Golden Freddy skin and its respective profile icon. That is it. Great Escape Golden Freddy wasn't able to be obtained through other people sending him to you, unlike every other skin in the game so far, so if you wanted it, you had to beat the Dark Circus to get it. Same with the profile icon. And nothing was new in this DLC besides a skin, icon, and a fucking circus. You know, maybe I'm the clown for buying this. I didn't actually buy it. I only got it when the game was gonna shut down. 1 year in, and the game's character releases went from good to I'd rather jerk off to FNAF porn. Dog, you drew this! No! It's suspected that a large amount of Illumix's team, mainly for animating and modeling, left Illumix altogether, which is why only new skins were getting pushed out instead of entire characters. But soon enough, even skins stopped getting added. What further adds to this theory of Illumix's team just leaving is the workshop animation for Melted Chocolate Bonnie is literally a copy and paste of Jacko Bonnie's. I'll even compare them side by side, they're exactly the same. It It was super common for a skin to share the same workshop animation as the default version it was for, but it never had an entirely different animatronics animation be used for another animatronic. I guess the animation fits, but the FNAF 1 crew's sound effects just sound so off with it.
And we wanna thank you for playing our game.
He was whipping up shit in a kettle, boiling shit. Actual shit.
At the start of 2022 in January, things seemed kind of normal. The Dread of Winter event started, and a photo booth contest was launched later the same month. But in February, the game would receive its last notable update for the entire year and until Shutdown. The update gave shorter characters, smaller hitboxes, fixed a few bugs with Funtime Freddy and Bonbon, and fixed a soft lock in the Golden Freddy fights. After that, every single update was just a reskinned event that brought some characters and skins back through lures. And all of that culminated in the last update of the game being quote-unquote alive in January of 2023, where System Error Toy Bonnie returned, with nothing else at all happening the rest of the year. No reskinned events, no returns, no bug fixes, nothing. FNAF AR was not being supported. And of course, with the player count dropping and no one at Illumix continuing to work on the game, the final delivery event started on February 2nd, 2024, which ran until March 14th of the same year, as a thank you and goodbye to everyone for playing. During this event, there were hourly rewards, every single animatronic lure was put in the shop, the Dark Circus DLC became 1,300 Faz coins, and tons of rewards were increased to help people progress faster so they could enjoy the game to its fullest until the shutdown date. On March 14th, FNAF AR was officially shut down and pulled from online stores. Unfortunately, because FNAF AR was an online game, even if you had it installed, you were unable to play it because the servers no longer exist. But that doesn't mean FNAF AR is fully dead.
The teacher here is supposed to be the most intense and demanding instructor in all of clowning, and shit, it's Roger, isn't it? It's gonna be Roger.
All right, jag off.
Don't worry, Forsaken AR isn't the Forsaken you've probably heard nonstop about, and thank God, because I'd prefer not to be groomed. Fuck. Forsaken AR is a modded version of FNAF AR, adding tons of new characters, many with new mechanics, as well as adding tons of new skins. I cannot express how happy I am that people are working to create a FNAF AR, but better, on its intended hardware, so I wish great things for the future of this project. They've already added characters like the Night Shift animatronics from Pizzeria Simulator, Lefty specifically being a majorly awaited character in the original, so if you want to go check it out, I'll leave the Game Jolt link in the description. Forsaken AR is available for iOS and Android currently, and if you're confused on how to actually get it, there are plenty of installation and help videos on YouTube. While I haven't personally played it, there was footage of it that I've seen, and it seems very faithful to the original, so I'd go check it out. FNAF AU is a recreation of FNAF AR created on Roblox, which even features VR support that is being majorly overhauled to be actually viable for gameplay. I don't know about you, but that is fucking awesome. Some of you may have gotten put off by the Roblox part, but even then, it's very worth checking out if you don't want to go through all the downloading that Forsaken AR needs. FNAF AU added loads of characters that were missing from FNAF AR, like all of the Withered animatronics, Nightmare Freddy and Foxy, the Phantoms, and of course, plenty of skins. Even map bots in the game. I wasn't expecting this, but FNAF AR's gameplay works really well on PC. Because there's no way for Roblox games to use your camera for AR functionality, there are a couple of pre-made arenas for the gameplay to take place in, one of them even being a reference to the original trailer's house. And with the VR gameplay being currently worked on and improved, I think this might end up being the best way to play FNAF AR after the original shutdown. Just like Forsaken AR, if you want to check out what you may have missed from FNAF AR, hop onto Roblox and search for FNAF AU. I'll even leave the game link in the description. It's a lot of fun, and I personally put plenty of hours into grinding for characters and other stuff. I cannot stress how happy I am that FNAF AR is being preserved and added upon, because this game was really cool, and I really do hope that progress on both Forsaken AR and FNAF AU continues to go well in the future. Dawko, please don't make any videos on this game. I don't know if Scott's gonna be very happy.
This is the Funtime Auditorium, where Funtime Foxy encourages kids to play and share. Try the light. Let's see what Funtime Foxy is up to.
I think there's someone hanging right there.